Hi there, I'm Nikisa, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to make these beautiful sweet little roses for your pipe cleaner bouquet. Something I love about these roses is the huge amount of texture that you get within them. I think they're perfectly imperfect. I think from far away they can look quite impressive because they're just so textured and visual. They have so much impact, especially when you have multiple colors in the rose. But if you look close up, they're actually a really simple technique, and it's actually all about the repetition of the same technique that brings them to life. So with that, I hope you have a ball making these little roses, and let's dive in. To create your roses, we'll be using 3 different colors of pipe cleaners. In this example that I'm showing you, we are using 3 magenta pipe cleaners and then 3 deep medium pink pipe cleaners. These 2 are going to be working together to create the petals of your rose, and then we have 2 dark green pipe cleaners. Now, for this example, these are the colors we're using, but I just want to make sure that you do check your online guide to make sure that you are using the correct pipe cleaners for your specific kit, as each kit will have slightly different pipe cleaners depending on the curated range of colors that are included and designed for yours. To begin our roses, we're going to be starting with the darker color of our pipe cleaners, and we're going to be making the inner rose petals, and then with the other pipe cleaners we'll be creating the outer rose petals. To create the inner petals, we're going to take all 3 of our pipe cleaners and we're going to flip them in half and cut those with our scissors. Then what you're going to do is bundle all of these together except for one piece. So bundle them all, you should have 5 pieces, and then take your 6th piece and use that to wrap around the bundle nice and tightly. You want to make sure you're wrapping that bundle in the middle as best you can. And you'll be able to tell that it's roughly in the middle because all of the length of your ends will be roughly the same size. So we're going to pull them all together. Then you can push one of these 2 tails back to the front so that you only have one tail remaining, just like this. Then to create the rose shapes, roses you might notice are actually made of these sort of slightly rounded petals that overlap each other. And we're going to be recreating that shape by twisting all of these little stems into each other in tiny little ringlets. It's actually a really easy technique. So taking one of the stems that you'll find there, take your thumb and forefinger and put that tip in between those fingers and twist around in a circle. Twist, 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 twist. You should end up with a little loop just like that. Now take another end and do the same thing. Twist, 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 twist between your thumb and forefinger. Now it doesn't matter what direction you're doing these. For example, I've done this one with my dominant hand, this one with my non-dominant hand. It really doesn't matter. You can twist them towards you or away from you. You won't be able to tell by the time you've finished your rose. What matters is that all of these little petals are twisted in. So keep going with this technique across every single one of these stems. You should have 11 stems in total, then 12 including the stick that you have at the back here. What I recommend is creating as many of these little loops as you can, and then we'll worry about placing them and moving them around so that they sit nicely after they're created. So don't worry if they bunch up a little strangely for now. So twist, twist, twist as best you can. There we go. What I love about this is that it's actually just a really simple technique, but from afar it looks really complicated and detailed, like it has all this texture and movement within it. But really, it's just a few little twists. Anyone could do this. one more left. Now this is how my little middle section is looking. It obviously doesn't look super neat. It's a bit bunched up on certain angles, but what I'm going to do now is separate each of these little loops and sit them and maneuver them so that they sit a little bit more evenly and roundedly. Just like that. It doesn't need to be perfect, but just shuffling them around a little bit. I tend to find that any larger loops actually look better towards the back. So if you have some more loose loops like this one, I like to sit it at the back. And then if you have any smaller or more tighter little loops, I guess I should call them spirals, they're not really a loop, any little spirals, you can twist them closer to the front. There we go. Now that looks a little bit more even. Now we're going to be using our second color to create our larger petals. Okay, so to do this, we're going to begin the same way by taking our 3 pipe cleaners, bending them in half and giving them a little pinch. But instead of cutting them, you're going to take one of your pipe cleaners and you're going to thread it through that end. So thread it through the bend of 2 of those pipe cleaners and give it a really good twist. Then lift both of them to the front. So what you should now have is 6 different stems, and we're going to recreate the same thing again from our smaller section, but this time we're making much larger loops. So using our thumb and forefinger again, we're going to take each of these pipe cleaners and we're going to begin twisting them. So twist, twist, twist. These will create larger, more rounded loops. And similar to the previous step, they don't need to be in any direction or order. However, when I'm making these, I do find that twisting them in the same direction with the same fingers just makes it easier to hold on to and to navigate. Well, if they go a little bit wonky, like that, don't worry, you can just pull them out a little bit. You can use your fingers to smooth out your pipe cleaners and you can try again. Pipe cleaner crafts, just like most crafts, I genuinely feel, often when you're looking at it close up, you see all these mistakes. You'll be going, oh my gosh, this isn't perfect, that's not perfect, I don't like how it looks. But when you take a step back, I promise your finished piece is going to look really, really beautiful. And this flower in particular is one of those cases where it's the total of all of these pipe cleaners sitting next to each other that looks really beautiful, and it's like the total is more than the sum of its parts. So if you feel like your loops are looking a little ugly or they're not how you like them, don't worry, just keep going, and I promise the final rows will look really, really beautiful. All right, keep twisting around and around. There we go. Sometimes it can be hard to hold once you get to these last ones, so I prefer to hold the flower petals rather than the stems as I get to the end here. Twist, twist, twist. You can make these as loose or as tight as you want. I try and make them slightly tighter so that the pink really pops. Alrighty. Amazing. Now that we have our larger petals, I'm going to bring back. Okay, now I'm going to piece together our smaller and larger petals. To do this is really simple. We're going to be taking this stem and we're going to be weaving it through the back of the larger petals. So to do this, just simply pop the stem through the middle, push it firmly, just like that. You can squeeze these together so that they sit nicely. And then what I'll usually do is push this stem through another one of the petals just to give it some security there. Easy as that. If you want some further security, you can also add a single sticky dot at the back here. So what I find can be helpful is either using the sticky dot to secure the stem so it just sits nicely. So lifting that up, popping the sticky dot down, holding it firm there. Or you can also put the sticky dot on the inside as well. Hot glue will also work totally fine, just one small dab of hot glue. But I genuinely find that a lot of the time you don't even need the sticky dot or the hot glue, but it's just to show you that there are options. There we go. And the final step here is just to arrange these larger petals so that they sit nice and neatly and evenly around your rose. Now I'm going to be showing you how to make the leaves of your rose. You'll be able to make 2 leaves using these pipe cleaners because each leaf only uses 1 pipe cleaner, but you can create either 1 or 2 for all of your roses. It totally depends on what you prefer. So to begin creating your leaves, you're going to take one of your pipe cleaners, bend it over and cut it in half so that both of your pieces are cut in half. Then, taking 2 of the pieces, you're going to bend each of them in half again, and then you're going to thread them through each other so that those 2 halves are linked, and then pinch and twist these pieces together. When they are coming together nicely, you're going to take the 2 tails that are pointing upwards and you're going to flip these. So flip them downwards. You should be able to get this soft curved shape at the end. And what you're going to do is take your fingers and give them a pinch at the top to make that curve just a little bit more angled. Then as we bring these down, we're going to pull them together below. And then using one of the longer lengths of your ends, so if you see, you'll notice you have 2 slightly shorter tails and 2 longer tails. Using one of the longer tails, you're going to take them and twist them around the end to bundle all of those together. And this will be your petal. It looks a little bit pointed, but what I like to do is actually separate and split these pieces so that they have a bit more of an angle so that there's a bit more of a pointed end and then a roundness to the leaf. There you go. I'm going to create my second one now. I'm going to fold that in half, fold that one, put them together, 2, okay, here's our 2 little leaves. To assemble your rose, you'll need your rose head, you'll need your 2 little finished leaves, you'll need a flower stem and your flower tape. Now, this one you don't even really need glue or a sticky dot because I find that it can sit really easily once you wrap your tape around this long pipe cleaner stem. However, if you want a little bit more security, you can definitely add a sticky dot or glue as well. I'll show a little bit of hot glue in this example just to show you how to do it, but it's not necessarily at all. To begin, I like to start wrapping the tip of my stem before I've attached it to my rose. So to do this, you're going to take your floral tape, and to activate the stickiness, you're going to give it a stretch. Now, if you haven't done any of our other flowers before, floral tape is this sort of sticky, tacky kind of tape that's going to adhere to your stem. And it is really unusual because when you stretch it, it activates this stickiness. Now, it's not that sticky, and sometimes it can feel a little bit complicated to work with, but I promise just give it a go and you'll be fine. It's all about layering. So first thing you're gonna do is going to give your floral tape a bit of a pull to activate it, and you're going to start twisting it around the stem like so. When you get towards the top of the stem, just try and cover it as much as possible, just like that. Then when you're at this stage, you can slot the stem through the back of your rose, just like this, and you can begin to wrap your pipe cleaner, this little pipe cleaner tail, down towards the stem, and this is going to secure it in place. At this point, this is where you can pop a little dollop of hot glue in here to secure it as well, or you can use a glue dot. I actually don't even think it's necessary for me at all right now to use hot glue or a glue dot, so I am going to omit that step completely. But if you feel like your flower is wobbling about too much or you're seeing it moving, this is a good point where you can pop the glue dot or some hot glue in there. But for me, it's so secure, so I don't even need it. What we're then going to do is continue wrapping our tape around to secure. So pull and wrap. If you notice that your tape is not sticking, it might be because you're not pulling it as you wrap around at the same time, because pulling it is what is going to allow that adhesive to stick. Okay, once we get a little bit of the way down, we're going to add our leaves. Now you can add your leaves wherever you like. You can add them higher up if you like, so that they're visible right next to your rose. You can add them further down. You can add them multiple times down. You can use one leaf, no leaves, two leaves, more leaves if you like. For me, I'm going to add the first one just here so that it's visible. To add the leaf, you're simply going to slot it next to where you're wrapping, and then I'm going to continue wrapping as though nothing has changed. So I'm slotting it next to where I am wrapping round and round and round, and then I'm going to continue moving down. You can angle this petal wherever you like as well. And then for my second leaf, I'm going to wrap it just a little bit lower so that it's nearby, but it's not exactly in line with the previous one. So I want it to be around there. Yeah, I think that will do. If you change your mind and you're like, oh, I actually want to make it higher, you can always unravel your tape really easily. Don't worry, we've got plenty of tape. Add the second one in, it's the exact same process. I'm simply laying this flat tip side against where I am wrapping and continuing to wrap all the way down. There we go. Wrap, wrap, wrap. Whoop. You can see I've just pulled too hard on my tape and I've torn it a little bit, but that's totally fine. This tape is really workable. Sometimes because it is this soft sort of papery tape, that can happen. It can totally come loose, and that's fine. If that happens, what I like to do is cut a new piece, start again just a little bit lower, and then I'll work my way back up to where I was. Wrap another layer and then go back down again. Layers will always help to smooth out any lumps and bumps or tears, so don't worry. And if you ever feel like, oh my gosh, it's looking terrible, there's like lots of tears and it's just looking lumpy and bumpy in ways I don't like, totally fine. Take your scissors, snip off all the tape and start again. It just takes a little bit of practice to get used to using the floral tape. So definitely don't be afraid to give it your all and give it a go. Alrighty, once we get to the end of our rose, give your tape quite a few twists and make sure you're pushing down to really firmly secure that tape at the end because you don't want it coming loose. Take your scissors, give it a snip, and there you go. You can use this time to adjust the leaves on your rose to make them sit exactly how you like.